Let's bring in our diplomatic correspondent, Mike Wagenheim. Mike, we got a lot to go through here today. Why don't we start with the Prime Minister talking about having new primary elections, snap elections within Likud here. He says that he wants to do this to foil his opponent's plans to have Likud dump him.
Trying to get out ahead of the game a little bit. Yeah. So they floated that up in the air to see who would bite, and guess who bit? Gideon Sa'ar, the Likud intra-party rival of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. After the announcement that Likud was thinking about maybe going to primaries, Gideon Sa'ar put out a two-word tweet: "I'm ready." Sa'ar and Netanyahu, there's a lot of bad blood between them. Sa'ar disappeared from politics for a while, waiting for the moment that he could take the reins of the Likud party. He sniffed a little blood in the water lately, made his return to politics, and he saw an opening today. He says he's ready, but several hours after Likud floated that idea, they've sort of backtracked a little bit. They're trying to see a little bit into the future here. And the way the system works, if they hold primaries, it has to be in November. Well, what could come down the line in November? Possibly indictments from Attorney General Avichai Mandelblit. Possible indictments against the Prime Minister. Wouldn't look good to be running for primaries with the indictments being handed down.
But ultimately, it's Netanyahu's call. If he wants to do this, he could have the primaries.
Anybody who tells you that there is anything that goes on in the Likud party without Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu knowing it, approving it, and probably directing it is a liar. Chaim Katz, the Likud Central Committee head, said, you know what, I don't want it. I don't think it's a good idea, but in the end, it's Netanyahu's choice.
All right, let's talk about this meeting that the Prime Minister had with Avigdor Lieberman. It didn't last very long.
No, it lasted under an hour, and then Lieberman immediately headed to the Israeli parliament and dined with Yair Lapid, the #2 of the Blue and White Party. Basically, Netanyahu wanted Lieberman to join his right-wing bloc and basically force Benny Gantz to join in as well. This would have been Netanyahu's way of saying, listen, you have no choice but to join at this point because you don't have even a unity government without Yisrael Beitenu and Avigdor Lieberman. But Lieberman really just voiced the same thing he's been voicing for a while. You two kids, Gantz and Netanyahu, you got to find a way to figure it out. If I can help, great. If not, okay. But you guys got to find a way to get it done.
But he's saying that it's got to be Yisrael Beitenu, Blue and White, and Likud, and there can't be the religious right.
Which, listen, when this person doesn't want to sit, Gantz won't sit with Netanyahu at the helm. Lieberman won't sit with the ultra-religious. Lieberman won't sit with the Arabs. The Arabs won't sit with Netanyahu. And it goes on and on and on. So really, viably, the only logic, unless somebody backtracks, and it's politics, but the only reasonable outcome of this is that you have a unity government between Blue and White, Likud, and most likely Yisrael Beitenu, and somehow, some way, Benjamin Netanyahu is not the prime minister, at least at the start. That's the way it's going to go.
All right, so listen, we've been asking this for weeks already. How is this all going to play out right now? Nobody's playing nice. Nobody's talking. You've mentioned that this person doesn't want to sit down with this person. There's a lot of empty tables, a lot of empty chairs. So if nobody's talking or they can't see eye to eye, is there no choice but for that third election, which nobody wants?
It's all about juice. It's all about leverage. It's all about trying to weaken your opponent.
So who's got the juice?
Right now, Benny Gantz has the juice. Okay. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has no way forward at this point unless he comes up with something incredibly creative. But keep in mind, even when Netanyahu, or at least his speaker of the parliament, Yuli Edelstein, said, you know what? Netanyahu is open to the idea of stepping away. He'll be prime minister, but he'll step away if he's indicted. And Benny Gantz still said no. So Benny Gantz is keeping the pressure on to weaken Netanyahu as much as possible. Gantz has the juice at the moment.
Quickly, does Yair Lapid saying that he'll take one for the team, he won't be involved in any prime minister rotation, does that make a difference at all at this point?
No, it was listen, if you're going to have a unity government, there'd be one representative of Blue and White, one representative of Likud rotating in this prime ministerial relationship. The fact that Lapid bowed out today, there was nothing to bow out of. He was already gone as far as realistic expectations went.
Mike Wagenheim, thanks a lot, Mike.